With us tonight to try to really understand diagnostics and screening of kids is John Sovec. He's a licensed marriage and family therapist based in California, and he's the author of the brand new book called Out, A Parent's Guide to Supporting Your LGBTQIA plus kid through coming out and beyond. John, until recently, a patient did have to demonstrate this persistent, intense gender dysphoria. If we're seeing an explosion now of pediatric referrals to gender clinics, I saw it was up 504% in just a 3-year span, according to the NIH. Is it appropriate to maybe make the process more rigorous because we are seeing something that's unusual in historical terms?
Well, I think one of the things that we need to look at is right at the start is the referrals are up because kids are speaking out about what they've been thinking, feeling for generations. And we now have resources for them to access to talk about this, to explore this with a trained professional. Now remember, all those referrals may be up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we've got kids taking action. It's creating a space to look at the whole spectrum of gender identity versus just saying you can only be this one thing or the other thing.
John, talk to me about the role of mental illness, because NIH saying up to 70% of gender dysphoric youth have another mental illness, depression, suicidality, anxiety. And other studies have shown we do not see, if you're put on a puberty blocker, let's say, or cross-sex hormones, suicidality does not go down. It stays pretty much where it was. You wrote a book to parents. What's more effective? Is it, fast-tracking kids into transition, or more having supportive people around you who can really be there to love you?
I think it's a mix, and I want to point out that puberty blockers are not a fast track into gender transition. What puberty
I'm not
blockers
saying it is. I'm saying that rather than doing the screenings and making sure this is persistent over a long period of time, to just kind of wait and see, which was the older model. That's prior to 1 decade ago, that was the model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we are looking at an understanding that kids have a real strong sense of their gender identity from a very young age. Everyone likes to hyperbolize that it's just adolescence, but most trans kids and non-binary kids actually identify with themselves, this difference in themselves at a very young age. And what they were told by the world around them, both parents, community, society, religion, is that, oh, that's not the way you're supposed to be. So they've been wearing a mask for a lot of years. And the heaviness of that mask and that armor, of course, is going to influence and affect their mental health and well-being. And I think that's an important factor to look on this as we're reaching a point where we're starting to create treatments that can assist these kids in being the most authentic version of who they are.
Final question here. You're gay, I believe. I'm gay. And you're hearing more people in the community say, we're concerned about where this is going. To where if a little boy is gender atypical, he plays with dolls, and suddenly it's, oh, maybe you're trans. Where the great majority are just gay, and they would grow up to be happy gay men or lesbians in their adult life. Is that something to be concerned about?
I think the idea that we can say what toys I play with as a kid decide my gender and my sexual orientation is kind of not looking at the depth of what this whole experience is. As an openly queer man, I have had all kinds of experience that helped me develop who I am and how I step into the world. And I think those are important things for all of us to support with kids, to create an open environment where those conversations can be had, where the parents can be informed with looking at information that is not built on the latest fear-mongering, but information that really takes into account the fullness of a family experience.
John Sovec, psychotherapist and author. Parents, it's a hard job, and they just all want to do right by their kids. I'm sure you hear from them every day. Thank you.
Thank you.